the clicker things. What do they call them? I should know that. That was my major, and I don't know it.
The card, whatever the card is.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the weekly. Oh, hold on. I need to mute. There we go. Okay. Never leave me in charge. Welcome to the weekly esports edu live chat. We are kind of just rolling in ahead and getting started, so I know we're going to take a couple minutes to sort of get everyone in here. But if you are joining us, welcome. If you're catching the VOD, hello. I hope you're able to watch this at a comfortable, nice time for you. We are maybe going to go rogue and not do our 30-second countdown video. I mean, live on the edge.
It's a right? It's a new channel. This is a new channel.
Yeah.
New day. This is official.
We'll see how it feels. Anyways, I am Carrie Linden. I go by the Chalk Muju on Twitter. What am I? It's Wednesday. I shouldn't be this tiled already, but I am. I'm the communication manager for Snowbright Studio and the editor for K12 ESN News. We have an extra person. There we go. To my left.
Hi everybody, I am Bradford. I am EdTech Tinker on Twitter. I am the TechSIF, Texas Scholastic Esports Federation Director of Learning, and I am the NASIF Scholastic Mentor, and I am also an education strategist for SHI.
Sam.
Oh, got quiet.
And my name's Samantha Anton. I formerly was working with NASIF the last 4 years, building up Scholastic esports, and kind of had my hands dipped in many different things. Now I am a freelance type of girl and kind of figuring out where I want to put my roots into moving forward. So I'm really happy to be kind of a pseudo producer working on esports edu, but being a part of this academic year's weekly streams and really helping us get organized for all the great things that our various educators put forward, and the just amazing conversations that we've been having since esports edu started 4 years ago.
Awesome. Danielle.
I'm Danielle Johnson. I am a middle school technology teacher, and I am the executive director for Texas Scholastic Esports Federation in Dallas, Texas. And I straight up forgot that it moved to our own channel tonight.
Yeah.
And I am trying to pull up the chat, and I don't know what it is.
Esports edu chat is our new Twitch channel, and we're also live on YouTube right now. If anyone's joining from YouTube, feel free to leave a comment as well. But that's a great segue to announce that we are on our new channel.
Tonight is our new night on the channel. So if you found us, welcome. I even had to dig and find the new channel right before we went live too, because
I wish it was just posted in the about section on the other channel.
We might need to do or
restream tonight. I don't know,
Jim's channel. We might have to poke him and see. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we're here now. We're in our new home. Anyways, we have a topical topic tonight. One that I've been following for quite some time, but one that I'm also sort of surprised about how many esports and gaming educators aren't following, especially being as a lot of educators teach content creation, or content creation is included in the activities that are offered within their program. So tonight we wanted to talk a little bit about the hate raids that are happening on Twitch. If you've been paying attention to Twitter, you may have heard a little bit of a rumbling about it. But just to give a little bit of kind of backstory or information about it, several months ago, Twitch gave us a whole pile of new tags that we could use on the platform. Tags that a lot of people were asking for quite some time, because it would allow streamers to be able to connect more directly to their communities. So if you were a queer streamer, you could use an LGBTQ tag. If you were a disabled streamer, you could use your tag. If you wanted to connect with people from the same, ethnic background or maybe a particular country, you had the ability to connect with communities that were relevant to you and your content. One of the concerns that came up when Twitch said, yes, we're going to give you these tags that you've been asking for, is how safe they were going to be, because a lot of the communities that were being given new tags are also from underrepresented groups of people that just in general can face a lot more hate and discrimination in online spaces than certain other populations. And we were sort of all, reassured that things were going to be done and it was going to be relatively safe and we're going to look at it and it's all going to be, it's all going to be okay. Have your tags, enjoy them. Couple months went by, people had their tags. I think most people enjoyed them. It was a nice way to be able to connect with your communities a lot faster. And then the hate raids started. And I think at first, a lot of people really didn't recognize what was happening, because you can, if you've got raids turned on, you can get raided, and sometimes raids are positive and sometimes they're not. If you're not familiar with what a raid is, it's when a pile of people jump into your channel and a lot of times spam your chat. So you'll have, a lot of content. Woo! I think we might have just lost Twitch. Did anybody else get the notice?
Yeah, we lost it like 2 seconds and it popped back on.
Okay. If you're on our Twitch channel right now, we are getting notification that StreamYards is having a hard time. So we are also on YouTube. But maybe Twitch will be okay. I don't know. But apparently StreamYards is having a hard time connecting with them. Anyways, but raids, if used correctly, raids are a great way to connect two streamers' communities together. So say I was streaming and I'm getting off my stream and I see that Bradford's live and I'm like, hey, all these people that follow me are really cool, positive people. They're going to love the content that Bradford is producing right now. I would take my stream and I would raid Bradford's stream and everyone would come in with me and we would be like, hey, Bradford, it's the Muju raid. And it would be really positive and really light. And Bradford would end up with a pile of new followers and it would be this great, cool thing. But when a raid is done with malintent, it becomes a real negative experience, because instead of coming in with like love and support, people are coming in with hate. So you get the term hate raid. People are coming in with racist comments, homophobic comments that are, attacking people's disabilities, their faith, and it's filling up channels faster than mods can do anything about it. So your entire chat can be filled up with hate speech, and more to the point, it's hard to deal with because Twitter supports a lot of languages, which is great. But if as a streamer you turn on your auto mod and then you load your banned words list with all the things that you don't want Twitch to put in, which if you're streaming, you should have a banned words list. It's really easy to mimic those words with all the other characters from various languages that are supported. So you may have banned the N-word, but they can use maybe the Turkish character list. They might be using Cyrillic. They can pull any other supported alphabet and mimic those words. So you might have banned 5 versions of it that you know of in English, but they can still generate thousands. And being that a lot of these are done by bots, it can be done extremely fast. So we've seen a lot of streamers pop up because they're getting, they are getting hate rated. Their mods are getting swamped. They're not being able to clear these accounts out of their chat. A lot of people are ending their streams. We've seen a lot of people stop streaming. A lot of people have been calling out to Twitter like, hey, what are you guys going to do? Twitter's response was sort of to consolidate all their safety material into one place and tell people to check it. So, a lot
when did Twitter respond?
When was Twitter's response? Sam, you've got response down here too, right?
So can you give me a timeline of all of this? Because I have heard bits and pieces, but I've been so underwater lately with some other things that I haven't been keeping up.
I think April is when we started to see some of the hate raids, but it wasn't as prolific as we've been seeing it over the last 2 months. Month to 2 months.
And okay.
There was.
And when did Twitter respond?
Twitter's
That's what I'm pulling
response.
up right now. I mean,
Yeah.
their first response wasn't that long ago. I
No.
want to say it was less than a month ago. But let me look it up.
Twitter or Twitch?
I think
Twitch.
I think Twitch responded after the day off Twitch.
Yes.
I don't think they responded before. I think the first response was several days after the day off Twitch. So the day off Twitch,
right? Yeah,
was what, September 1st.
Yeah.
August 11 was their earliest response.
Okay.
And so this is all happening, and then day off Twitch. When was that?
September 1st.
September 1st.
And then when was Twitch's first response?
Their next response was like 2 days after.
2 days later.
2 to 3
No, okay,
days
so
after.
hold on. There was a response on August 11th from Twitch about this, and the Twitch community wasn't satisfied, so we did day off Twitch.
Because if I remember correctly, the first response was something along the lines of nobody that uses our platform should be experiencing like hate or mistreatment. It was a very light, not direct, no action taken.
Okay. And then when was then that was earlier, and then you said there was one like August 11th. Is that
Yeah,
right?
and that was really a Twitter thread acknowledging everything that was happening. Yeah. So,
but no action.
Yeah, so with things happening in July, to not really hear anything until August 11, and it's we hear you, we see you, and not concrete solutions. That doesn't, and I think part of the critiques of his response so far, it's really putting the labor back onto the streamers. You know, you can turn off, you can turn your Twitch to follower only mode, which chatbots have been able to get through that. You can turn off raids, you can add things to your banned words, and it's not really have this light switch that you can turn and then you will be protected.
When was day off Twitch?
September 1st.
September 1st.
And then their next response was when?
Like 2 or 3 days after. Yeah.
It was, there was a, and I'm looking at somebody's tweet that looked like they got an email. It looked like it was just a generic response saying, here, you can go to the creator camp. You can look at our safety center. It was just, here's our tools. And what they're saying is, that's great. Like, we've already got this information beforehand. We know how to do all this stuff. But then that's going back to what Samantha was saying is, you're putting still the work back on us to do. We're already doing these things. Now, what are you going to do? Because that's like, you're asking, it's like educators. You're asking teachers to do more, and we're already doing more. But you are, and I'm just making up a number right now. I don't know how much Twitch makes, but you're like $1 million company. I'm just saying, I don't know how much Twitch makes, but you're making all of this money, but why are we the content creators doing the work? So that's the concern. Like, can you put something out there so that we can critique if this is worthy or not? But can you at least put something out there because we're already doing this part? Or can you hire some people because we're already doing these bots or doing whatever it is that we're doing? But it seems like you're not doing anything. And Danielle, you know where I'm going with this too. Like, hey, can we get a roadmap? Can we get something? I mean, we hate the word roadmap, but you're not giving us anything to work with to even say like, hey, that doesn't even work for us. You're just giving us tools to do more work. And we don't want to do more work. We want to know what you're going to do, because what's going to end up happening from the information that I've gathered just today, people may say, hey, I'm just going to go over here. You know, I mean, I just want to get my content out there. I want to be responsible to my viewers. I'm not about the numbers. I want to be responsible for the people that I serve. And so I'll while you figure this out, maybe I'll just go over here. So that's kind of the information that I've gathered just from today.
So I'm curious, things like this happen on Reddit occasionally. And so that's why I was trying to get the timeline, because this happened very recently on Reddit with COVID misinformation, where COVID misinformation and raids, which were the exact same thing, on Reddit, people were taking over, Reddit threads. And Reddit responded, and the response wasn't liked, or Reddit was trying to respond, and then the mods went dark one day. And that's happened before in Reddit's history, where a lot of the major subreddits, the moderators go private so that the content that people go to Reddit for can't be accessed.
Right.
But then something recently, so Reddit responded with a couple of things, but it was like placating. And that is what Reddit usually does. But then a few weeks later, they came back and they were like, okay, here's what we actually did. And like had swept out all these subreddits. And in that time period, they actually laid out the research they did. And they found more subreddits than the ones they originally had, I knew were doing this. And so it makes me wonder if Twitch is doing things behind the scenes to figure out how to stop it, but not publicly discussing it.
So we do know that they brought two lawsuits up against people attached, I believe, to the Hotspots. So the Hotspots are the bots that are behind the majority of what's happening right now. So there was a question of does everybody congregate in one stream and then go to the raid? Like old school hate raids, yes, you would congregate in one person's stream. That streamer would raid the other stream, and everybody would be a real human being attached to it. The hate raids that are happening right now are all digital. These are bot accounts. It's an army of bot accounts that are going in. They're generating hate terminology, again, digitally, so it's happening really, really fast. There may be one person attached to a particular raid, where like an old school raid, there are people behind it. This is these are bots. So it's a different animal than the raids that we're used to, and old school like hate raiding or flaming somebody's channel. It's different. It's the equivalent of DDoS. Yeah, kind of. So, and that's why it's being really hard to handle on a streamer's end, because you're not dealing with people, you're not dealing with human time, you're dealing with computer generated content, which moves extremely fast, and your mods are human. So yeah, it's problematic. I would say that Twitch is obviously doing something, because we know that there are 2 lawsuits pending right now against 2 separate individuals. So clearly they think they've at least identified 2 people behind what's going on right now. Is there more? I don't know. They haven't been terribly transparent. We just know the little bit that's been announced within the last, 6 or 7 days.
Now, here's what I read about those 2, just in the couple of minutes that I've just digest this with those 2. Now, I'm not saying this source is credible or not, but what they're saying is, okay, so yeah, you're suing us, but we're going to go on ahead and just open up another account and still keep going. Yeah. So you're not going to. So while you're suing us under Ted Tinker, I'm going to go and change it to Tech Tinker EDU, and you still won't know that it's me.
If you,
I'm not doing it, y'all. But
that's it. It's been confessed. I'm here.
No, but they're saying like, you're not stopping me, and that goes back to, again, a conversation that we've been having. There's no rules in this space, and I'm not saying that in a negative way. Is that they're finding these loopholes. Well, I can still go over here because nobody is stopping me from doing X.
If you are following what's happening, several streamers have posted huge threads of all the different Haas accounts that are known right now, and every day there are more. So when Twitch comes out and says, "Well, add them to a banned list," that's great. But there's thousands of Haas accounts right now, because they are just, as soon as you ban one, another one's being auto-generated. Like you said, you're suing one, but there's thousands more. Like there's a whole list of them being updated. Yeah, the Seri codes. So what is interesting, and what I think on my end is telling is that there are solutions. We're seeing several different creators, several different content creators are creating their own bots that are fighting the hotspot. And so there's literally this bot war that's happening on Twitch right now from the people who have followed, I think it's the Sari bot that is going in, and it goes in and essentially unfollows, bans, and does all this stuff to the hotspot. Now there's reach issues. I don't know if anything's changed, whether this particular bot has gotten more support from Twitch so that it can like move faster and support more streamers. But I know there are several streamers that are creating their own answer, but that's not coming from Twitch. But let's be clear, people are creating a solution. Twitch currently has not released a solution. So the community is trying to keep each other safe. But it's really obvious that this is potentially something that Twitch could be doing in-house. They could release a bot, an extension that could potentially be keeping their users safe. We haven't seen it yet. Will we see it? I don't know. Right now the community is trying to do that on its own.
And bots need approval as well. So I just saw today that Twitch responded to someone who had created a bot to protect their channel, and Twitch says it's approved. If you want to counter and provide more information so that we can approve this, please do. But again, the labor always goes back to the content creator. And I do know that Twitch has invited some content creators as a part of their discussion around what they need to be doing. And I know those creators, the onus isn't on them to even be perfect themselves to be able to educate Twitch fully, because at the end of the day, it's Twitch/Amazon's platform that needs a ton of work.
So here's my question, because this goes back to when Mixer was open and then Facebook Gaming. Was this it? Because you were heavily in those areas. Was it seen a lot there? Because I wasn't in Mixer a lot or Facebook Gaming. Did you see it a lot there, or what?
No,
a lot tighter.
I saw it a lot more in Twitch. Like as a Mixer streamer, I spent a lot of time in my channel and other people's channels, and we all commented about how you saw it so much more when you were visiting Twitch channels. It felt more prevalent. I know a lot of us had some trepidation making the jump when Mixer announced that it was closing, because we knew we were jumping into this much bigger entity that just felt a lot wilder and a little less supportive. At that point, the community sort of felt different. Twitch is a bigger space. There are a lot more people on it. There's more anonymity because of its size and just the creator pool that's there. So that's, it's easier kind of for hate to be tolerated. But this is also a new animal. Like hate raids, like they're not new. You have the ability to turn off traditional raids. But this isn't just that. This is a bot that can spam your chat just because it follows you. I had a friend that streamed like two or three nights ago, and within being live for 3 minutes, she'd already been followed by 5 of the Haas accounts, which means they can talk in her chat and they can start spamming it full of hate speech. 3 minutes, and she's not, we're not talking. I think it's important to note that this is generally not happening to super huge streamers. It is happening to some partnered streamers, but like if you're out there watching, Ninja or Shroud, like, some of these bigger ticket people, you're probably not going to run across it.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
Twitch should just partner all these people that are getting.
But even the partners are getting
promote their
partners are still getting rated.
Okay.
Still happening to partners. Wreck-It, I think Wreck-It just got
partnered.
If they're
the really bigger, if it's like the bigger streamers that this is happening to, let's just make all the LGBTQ streamers bigger. Ugh.
Yeah, they're not going to do that.
I know. Let's make the other ones bigger. Let's make everyone else bigger.
Yeah. It's unfortunately that isn't happening. But the supports need to be there. Like they gave a way for people to identify groups of individuals and then didn't prepare the safety measures to keep those groups safe. And that is, that concern that comes up in a lot of different topics that we talk about. It's one thing to say, hey, come here, use our platform, join our program. We want you here. If you're not creating a safe space, you aren't actually welcoming those people to the table. And that's what we're seeing with Twitch right now. Hey, you're, a Black streamer, great. You're a gay streamer, fantastic. You're a disabled streamer, lovely. We want you to be here. We want to showcase your work, but we're not going to keep you safe. And that sends a clear message ultimately as to who's, safe on a platform or not. And it's concerning, and I'm hoping they will see what's being done by the community and put something in place. But it's something that needs to be looked at. I really would like to see what Glimish is doing. Glimish is a brand new streaming platform, and I haven't popped in to any of their roundtables to see if they've been addressing this particular kind of situation, how it plays out. I also haven't seen, what the Facebook gaming community or YouTube streaming community is talking about. The conversation has been very specifically Twitch. So whether that's something with platform security or whether that's just, where the community is right now, I don't know. It would be interesting to talk to people that stream on the other platforms and see what's going on.
That's what I was wondering. Is like now, like all the other platforms, not saying watching Twitch fail or anything like that, like watching this as a teachable moment. Okay, so what are we gonna do? Like, is this happening in our space? Not saying that they're naive to it, but like, okay, what kind of precautions are we taking? Who do we need to talk to? The other thing that came into my mind with all of this too is, does Twitch have, a community base? And I'm being done with this. I should know this. But where is there, DEI in all of this? Where is that prevalent in all of this? Is that like when I go onto the page, where do I see that, or where can I find information on that? And I'm just asking a curious, and I'm not trying to call Twitch out or anything, but I would like to know, especially when incidents like this happen, where are those? Where is that group of people? Or where is that stance? Because I don't want to see an email out or somebody tweeting out, "Here's our statement." I want to see something when I automatically go on to Twitch. Hey, here's what's going on.
That hasn't happened. When you go onto Twitch, it's your regular experience of your follows and your recommended. They have not put anything up as of yet, letting people know what's going on or issuing any particular stance on it. And I'm on Twitch pretty much every day. People stream, so I have not seen anything. And their social media presence has been minimal. You've got people that are now live tweeting their raids. When they're being raided, they're immediately adding Twitch and being like, "Hey, just so you know, I've been live for 5 minutes and this is happening right now." And then they're screenshotting, the just what's happening in their chat, trying to document it and trying to tag support. But it's, I think they're overwhelmed, and unfortunately, Twitch doesn't have the best track record for getting involved in community issues. Like, the community issue has to be big enough that it impacts them financially before they usually get involved.
But the data, that data link that, I guess because they were shocked. Remember that data link, that link that I just sent out from VentureBeat, where it looked like they freaked out. Oh my God, we just lost
the day of Twitch.
The day of Twitch, and we just lost a million people. Now, what are we gonna do? Now we got to respond to something because they're being reactive because we lost 1 million viewers, and I can't read it correctly because I'm just trying to decipher it. But Danielle, teachers we love our data, and so when I saw that, I'm going, okay, what does this mean? But for Twitch, they saw this as, okay, we lost a huge percentage that one day. What are we going to do? Okay, we just got to throw out something. Let's throw out, hey, we acknowledge what's happening. Here's this. But our Twitch streamers and creators are saying, this ain't enough. Like, we did this so you could wake up and say, hey, this is not right. What are you going to do about this? But we can't keep doing this every day, number one, because as a content creator, this is where we put our content. it's a huge leap. And then, I mean, Carrie, I'm sure you know, like it's a huge leap to jump over to something else and bring your followers over. So, I mean, are they saying, and I'm not, you know, again, I'm not slamming Twitch, but are they saying, hey, it's either this, and again, we've had this discussion too. It's either you go here,
Yeah,
or you go there. What are you gonna do?
I have seen a lot of people give up their affiliate status. I know
Wow.
we've had a couple big names leave Twitch and sign, I think, with YouTube. So there has been some high level exodus, and there's been a lot of medium and small level, not full exodus. A lot of people are dropping. Essentially dropping affiliate status so they can multi-stream, multicast, potentially make a drive away. They also want to route their financial support away from the Twitch platform. Twitch takes a large percentage of your donos. So if you instead have links in your chat that say, hey, go, you know, support my coffee, go support my Patreon, here's my tip jar. It allows people to, you know, to be able to donate to them without Twitch getting a cut. So we've seen more people kind of going that way, and dropping your affiliate status is the best way to do that because you can start getting all that once you hit affiliate. So, you know, people are kind of backing out of that right now. I think for me though, one of the things that is really important and why I was like, we need to talk about this is a couple weeks ago, like I posted something on Facebook about, hey, like if you're a parent, this is what's happening on Twitch right now. You need to be aware of it because if your child, you know, is queer, if you've got, you know, children of color in your house, if you've got disabled children and they're following streamers that, you know, identify similarly to they might be running into this stuff. They might be seeing this content. They may be experiencing it. This is what's going on. And this is why you kind of need to be aware. And there were a couple people within the esports gaming community that didn't know this was happening. And, you know, as individuals that teach, you know, gaming and content creation, you know, we spend a lot of our time online. We're having our children learn how to cast. You know, being aware of what's happening on probably the biggest platform that is utilized for esports is important. Like you need to know, some people only have young white men on their teams. But if you have a diverse group of kids that you're working with, this is potentially impacting them, potentially impacting some of the streamers that they follow. It's something that we should be having conversations about because this is hurting real people. Like real people are not streaming right now. They're being cut off from their revenue and income sources because of what's going on. I've watched people that are like, I haven't streamed in a month and a half because every time I log on, this happens to me. Like they're being kept out of a platform that should be accessible.
Wow. So that was my other question too, as an educator. And this is why I wanted to pop on here too for our education, because the quickest thing in our space is to cut it off. Just cut it off. You know, we don't want to deal with it. You know, if all the information that we've talked about today, the easiest thing to do is go to your IT and say, you know what, we're just not going to do it.
Yeah.
We're just not going to deal with it. We have YouTube. You know, YouTube is a feat in itself. We finally got YouTube to where we want it, so to speak. But if this is happening here, it's easy to turn it off. But here we are, it's September 15th. And you know, Danielle and I, we're trying to get schools to get their programs started and using Twitch. We just had a scrimmage yesterday, and we weren't on Twitch, not that I know of, but that's coming. So districts and schools are gonna gravitate to that, and so now they're hearing this, and now they're thinking, "Oh my God!" And Angelique was on here going like, "Crap." I know she's going like, "Crap." Now I'm nervous. What do I do? What kind of steps should I take? Because that would be the next thing. If Mary, Johnny, Bobby, Sue, whoever gets raided, and it could be the district Twitch.
Oh yeah,
and they see it.
Yeah.
How do we handle that? Like, what steps should we take? And I don't mean to put that on anybody in this chat because I don't think we have the answers quite yet. because we know Twitch is just giving us the tools, but what should we do? Should we just switch over to YouTube? Should we just keep promoting the digital citizenship, or what should we do?
I mean, I think we definitely have to promote. Yeah.
Oh, keep going.
I think we definitely have to continue to promote digital citizenship. I mean, we don't want to be raising the next generation of hotspot creators. Like, teaching empathy and awareness is key. And yeah, I think go through, like, I know I've talked to people in our industry that don't have a banned words list, that don't have auto mod cranked up all the way, that don't know that they can switch chat into an emote only or follower mode. Like, there are things that you can do. You should know what they are. And if you're following what's going on online, looking at the creators that are creating these bots that you can run on your own Twitch feed that help keep you safer, because there are a couple now that exist. So it is something that you can be done. Now, is the average Scholastic esports team likely to get targeted? Probably not, because you're probably not going to have the tags on your channel that are going to have you be targeted. But is an after-school program that promotes LGBTQ youth likely to be targeted? Yeah, probably, because they're probably going to be running an LGBTQ tag. Is a group that promotes, young Black girls learning how to code or learning how to game design or stream? Yeah, probably, because they're probably going to be using tags that are relevant to their demographic. So, the average school team, probably not going to be a big target, but, more niche clubs or groups or organizations might be.
And I think with Scholastic esports programs in general, you have to be dynamic and you have to be present in what's happening. One of my degrees is in film, and I think in the beginning of my academic career, everyone has to learn Final Cut, and that's industry standard. And industry standard changes all the time, and I think we do need to, even in our educators and with our students, give that greater context of Twitch is not the end all be all. We don't know where Twitch is going to be in 5 years, but these are the lessons that we need to remember. In a platform, how do we expect them to respond? How do we expect them to have tools that are valuable so that when we switch platforms, we're already looking to see, I'm looking for, these mod tools. I'm looking for this banned word list. And even with curriculum, I don't know how often curriculum gets updated, but it's not. It's not after a summer. It's not after a summer of hate raids to go back in and say, we need to take a second look at this. Does this still fit for this upcoming academic year?
You're exactly right, because guess what? This is for esports, classic esports. This is your curriculum. This is part of your content. So this is not a curriculum that you evaluate every 5 years. You're evaluating this daily.
It's live.
It's live.
New stuff happens every week. If you are not at least checking in with what's going on, you're doing a disservice to your program. This is the culture our kids are in. It takes a pandemic to update curriculum.
Maybe not even that, though.
Danielle, what was the point that you were going to make?
I actually don't remember it anymore.
Sorry.
I'm sure it was really profound, though.
It was probably riveting, and you can just call me out on Twitter, like that darn.
I did.
No, I'm saying you should.
Oh.
You should.
God, that's been a week, right? Like, God,
no, you didn't attack me. We're all good. Everything's fine.
Man,
no Twitter beef. We're good.
So, if we want to end it on we don't know what Twitch should do, but we know we have to not teach our kids not to be assholes. Are you allowed to cuss on Twitch? I can never remember.
Well, I mean, generally we keep the content education appropriate.
Well, I don't care if middle schoolers hear this. We don't want you to be assholes. Yeah. So, that's our goal no matter what.
Yeah, no.
And, we do need to address that. Yeah. Hey, did you know this is happening? Because one of my students today apparently makes YouTube videos and has, thousands of likes on them every video.
Yeah.
No clue, right? So, this is something I'm going to bring up. And this is something we totally need to address. But always our goal is to prevent assholes, and that is honestly better humans through gaming is really, can we please prevent assholes? So that is the school appropriate version of our motto.
Danielle!
That's what these people are. They're assholes.
Oh my gosh, what are you?
But anyways, so now that we're all laughing,
she's taking my spot today, y'all.
Everybody is laughing.
I'm very calm today.
And this way you can kind of like wash the heaviness off a little bit. But remember, that's what privilege is being able to step away from the situation. Yeah. So don't wash it too far off. But now I don't remember what I was going to say, and I would like to tell a really funny story.
Started with an A, and ended with me just
blushing. I think really, to Carrie's point earlier, people do need to pay attention, and I think if you are an educator who's, whether you're streaming live to a public platform or even just to your community, I think knowing that there are people out there that can code their way into your chats and attack people on the basis of race, gender, sexuality, all those things, you should be looking for what Twitch is doing as an example for down the line, because, it's 2021. In 2030, who knows how deeper this all gets. Already we're getting into IP addresses being able to be exposed because of these bots, which is incredibly dangerous.
Yeah,
right?
we've seen people getting doxxed. I've seen people come in and say like, "Hey, my children's personal information has just been disclosed. Their names, their school site has been listed." Like, people are going after individuals and individuals' minor children. So yeah, like if you're not, we need to be paying attention.
So one of the things that, I remember what I was going to say now.
Go ahead before you do.
So one of this, aside from the preventing rude people and making better humans aspect of this, I didn't say it.
I know. Thank you.
Is that this is a national security issue at this point. And that's actually been my thought from the very beginning when you guys were talking, when we were talking about it, like really close to the beginning. I was like, this is a hate speech thing.
It is.
Twitter is using the Justice Department and a lawsuit and with what I have seen work in other companies when they have to respond and they have to collect a lot of data, like this, is that they are probably working with our Justice Department already, and that they're jerks, right? But they coded their way into this, which means it takes coding to get out of it. And that is, first you have to hire those people, right? But second is that, y'all, next year Joan Alpha turns 13, and all those hotspots are in trouble because this, like, if we're talking a generation that can use a demographic that can use social media for good and for bathroom destruction, but also for good.
Bathroom destruction.
TikTok, love you, TikTok.
This group of kids is it. They, derailed political rallies over the summer. They took down Texas's abortion bounty website. And next year, Gen Alpha actually turns 13 and can be on all these platforms. And that is, I think, honestly going to turn the tide in a lot of this, because this, kids have gotten nicer. And kids have not nicer. Kids have gotten more empathetic since I began teaching 15 years ago. And that is something people ask a lot is, so what's different between kids then and kids now? And it is empathy.
Empathy.
I had this discussion at a birthday party this weekend when another mom whose child has some disabilities was afraid her son was going to get picked on. And I was like, nope, not going to. I mean, he might, but only if he's a jerk, not because he has a disability. And this group of children, because they're still children, they fight this stuff, and they fight it with technology. And this is what they do for fun.
Yeah.
And they're finally going to be like allowed to be on the internet next year.
Yeah.
And so this is why I'm so passionate about esports and these programs in middle schools, because not only is it when you prevent buttholes because of the way the brain works,
Yeah.
and because of synaptic pruning that starts happening around age 12 or 13. And so this is where you can build empathy in kids. And this is our group that already has a ton of it.
Yeah.
And as the kids are younger, and if you don't work with littles, you might not know, but as they get younger, they are getting more and more empathetic. And it is not just because they're younger. Like, this is very different. I went from teaching 6th grade for a long time, and I took a 3-year break and did some other things and went back to 6th grade. And that 3-year gap, they are different.
Yeah.
And that is one of the things that like excites me about this group of kids that are about to be, you know, adolescents and teenagers, and about to be able to turn on that fire that they have, and about like they are about to be old enough to like
Do
Hotspots.
something. Yeah.
Like, these kids will code them.
I mean,
like
they
through
can
the
be
windows.
Yeah,
My kids can outcode me like before the warm up is done.
I mean, they can be doing the stuff that we're seeing some of the content creators come up with, which are you know, the bots that are essentially fighting it. Yeah.
Because Twitch doesn't, they don't work for Twitch. The people that have the knowledge to fight this don't work for Twitch already.
Well, the people whose hands aren't tied by politics and approval are the ones that we're seeing coming up with the solutions right now. These are the people that are in the community.
Those are the people that Twitch can now hire, and because they know who they are. Yeah. So this is actually going to bring some of our better coders and some of our better, you know, people that do white hat hacking, you know, out of the woodwork. And when those skills, when our about to be 13-year-olds and no longer, you know, under COPA, the next 5 years are going to be wild.
Yeah. It should also be
a good way.
Yeah. It should also be a wake up call, because like just the other day, there was a whole conversation happening in the Esports EDU Discord chat about Discord not being approved because it's a dangerous, you know, sort of place, or not necessarily a safe place for kids. Look at what's happening on Twitch. Look at what's happening through the safety protocols that are already in place. Like, we are in an era of advanced technology. Like, people have the skills to, like you said, code their way around all the safety protocols that are in place. And we're living in a world that is becoming more and more extremist in its viewpoint. So it doesn't take a large group of people to create a really destructive movement. It just takes a handful of people with the skills to create an extremely destructive movement. Like,
you're exactly right.
There's probably not many people behind these hate raids. It's probably not many people, but it's impacting a large number of people within the community.
And going back to what you both said, Danielle and Carrie, with Discord and all that, the kids, they see this all as a big sandbox and that they can play in, and there are no rules. They're making up these rules as we go. Like, I know we're going off into a different thing, but it's so relatable. Like, when you said that Discord is the inappropriate stuff, I mean, I dealt with that, and I had to stop people right there, and I said, wait a minute, it's not Discord, it's what they're doing in Discord. And I had to explain that to my director. I said, number one, I said, how Discord works is you have to be invited in to be a part of it. So if you're doing, like, you know, excuse me for being inappropriate, like sexy Discord chat, like, you're invited into sexy Discord chat, and so you're a part of that organization. So when somebody is, I'm sure there is one somewhere.
There probably is. We should all be typing it in now.
But like, when the parents and the teachers are freaking out, oh my God, I can't believe little Sam is on sexy Discord chat. Don't get it twisted. She found it, or she was invited, or she created it. And I had to tell my director that I said, Don't get it twisted. Little Sam is not that innocent, because that's not how disco. Yes, you are innocent, Sam. But I had to school that. I had to school it. I said it's all a sandbox, and you're building and you're creating within the space. So when people see it, they're being invited in. So the world are these little kids' oysters, and we have to. That goes back to the curriculum and content again. Like, adults, we've got to change our thinking. We can't think 20 years ago, and this is before the pandemic hit. We can't think of the new way of how. We can't think of the old way we taught history, math, science, and social studies and literacy. We've got to go in. These, Danielle just said, these kids are walking in literally with a phone in their hand the minute they're born.
And the code, they will finally be allowed to do something
right.
with it.
And they know how to code
if they aren't already.
Right. And they already know how to code it by the time they're in first grade. And we're coming in talking about, writing for XYZ. They've already surpassed you already before they even learn how to say, mama and dada. So that's a problem for
Oh, yeah. There are kids that can code before they can talk.
Absolutely. Absolutely, but that's another subject.
But not only are we around to, I feel like education is it's my civic responsibility. And that's actually one of the things that motivates me and drives me, because democracy relies on an educated populace. And it's one of the reasons I taught social studies for so long. But this, for me, knowing how big of national security, this is a national security issue. This is the government uses Amazon, AWS. If they can do this, what can they do?
And we've seen Discord servers get hacked.
They're absolutely paid for it. These white hats, do it for fun, right? Black hats, no, you do it for money. So somebody's paying. So this is, hate speech across state lines, using
it's really a global line.
Yeah,
the laws that came in.
I'm thinking Commerce Clause right now.
Oh yeah,
and prosecution. They're using the justice system, and so I know we are in the jerk preventing business and the empathy creating business, but there is so what's not in the media speaks volumes about how big this is.
Well, and I think one of the things too that you see is when litigation is happening, information doesn't flow, because usually it can't. And so, as much as people are really
here, I think there's prosecution.
Well, once legal action is taken, there's often a moratorium on what can be publicly said and disclosed. So that may be part of why we're seeing Twitch be really quiet. And we know that there are at least 2 lawsuits that are out there. There's potentially more in the works. They may be quiet because that might be what legal is. Yeah,
sure.
Legal might be telling them.
No, but I also think they're being quiet from a national security standpoint.
No, it's absolutely potentially
and so
the case.
It is not their choice.
Yeah,
I don't think
they could be in data collection. It's hard to tell because we know that their response to things is slow. But we know that this is huge, and we'll know in the end.
The U.S. government's been dealing with hate speech for how many hundreds of years? Twitch has been dealing with it for a couple, and in that timeline, I feel like they responded reasonably faster.
But not as fast.
I'm just saying, in a historical timeline.
Historically, yes.
And we live in the moment, but we also live in history.
Well, and we live in the era of digital technology, and I think there should be a wake-up call to people to realize how quickly you need to respond. Especially when people when those tags were generated and the community said, "Hey, what happens when this, and this happens?" And Twitch is like, "It'll be fine." And then several months later, this, and this is happening, and nothing was put in place to prevent it. Those are concerns. I think we're at a point now where organizations, creators of technology, really need to listen to the concerns of the community, because they are being carried out generally quicker than companies can prepare for it. So if you're waiting to see if it happens, you're moving too slow. Do we have final thoughts? Since we are down to the last 6 minutes.
I do. I really hope that Twitch is doing a lot more that we're not seeing. And from the amount that I'm not seeing, I really believe they are. And so this is something that I think while we live in it, we do have to we do have to know that there is more happening behind it. And when, in 6 months, when there might be major changes, but like in 10 years, we're going to go that like responding in 6 months wasn't quite horrible. I just don't want to I'm choosing to believe that they are doing something behind the scenes that we don't know.
Right.
And not because corporations are good people, but because legally they have to.
Yeah.
And we are not seeing all of that.
I would say my final thought is support more streamers who are being affected by this in ways outside of Twitch, whether it be following, sharing, also not just sharing when they're hate rated, but sharing when they are in their prime, when they are glowing and they're proud of the work that they're doing. I think there's so many authentic creators out there that are being really affected by this, that Twitch doesn't need to be the end all be all for them, and that they should continue to thrive. And if you are not following enough streamers that are being affected by this, let me know. I know I follow a good handful, but really, I don't think it's too hard to find, especially those that have been really vocal about how it's been affecting them. So if you can support the creators that are being screwed over by these hate raids.
Yeah. I think educators, I hope this particular stream is not a scare tactic. It's just a wake-up call, and use this as a resource that you didn't know that you had. Because like I said in the beginning, it's easy just to call IT and just shut it off. That's the easiest thing to do. But when like Danielle said, when these 13 to 18-year-olds get out into the real world, they're going to see this regardless anyway.
In trouble.
We are going to be in trouble.
Guys. We're in trouble next year. We're in trouble.
Absolutely. So let's use this as a learning opportunity to keep researching, because like I said earlier, like this is the new curriculum for esports, for digital learning, for tech. This is what curriculum looks like, and we always have to stay abreast on it. And even if IT or network can't shut it down quickly, even though that may be the easiest thing to do, there are proper techniques that we can work with our students on to be safe, and social emotional learning techniques that we can work with our students and our parents on to be aware. And also call out people like Twitch and Facebook and YouTube if there is a problem. The more that we start calling out these companies, the more they'll realize, hey, we got to do something.
Yeah, I think we hear in esports a lot that this is how we've always done it, or this is the games we've always played. It's like we need to start raising our voice to the rest of the community that's raising their voice. We're not just one voice. We're not one entity. We're part of a greater community. I think my final thought for the night is stay educated. Like if you are an esports educator, if you're a coach, if you're an administrator, if you're a parent of a gamer or an esports athlete, you need to have your finger on the pulse of what's happening. If it's just finding a few accounts to follow on Twitter that keep you connected to Scholastic esports, to general gaming news, to streaming, you need to find those. You need to find them. You need to follow them, even if it's just checking in and reading what's going on once a week. I know some people use the content that we create over at Liminal, others don't. There's tons of ways to get your information, but find the great sources for it. Like right now, Twitter to me is the great spot for it. I can go to LinkedIn and I can see nothing about what's going on with hate raids, nothing, because it's a lot of professionals that aren't talking about it. But if I go to Twitter, that's the community that's being directly impacted. They're talking about it. So take a second and plug yourself in. If you're not following some of the leading voices in like native streaming, Black streaming, disabled streaming, queer streaming, find a couple, follow them, because they are going to be the voice for their community at large, and you're going to be able to see what's going on. So, throw some notifications on people. Make sure you're keeping track. It may or may not be relevant to your program, but you're going to know what's going on, and you're going to be able to say, like, hey, maybe this is a conversation we need to have with administration. Maybe it's a conversation we need to have with IT. Maybe we need to sit down and talk with the kids about it. Because if you don't know, your kids probably do. There's a really good chance they're way more tuned in than you are, and that's not always a good thing. So stay informed. I hope everybody enjoyed a heavier topic today, not as fluffy as our welcome back from last week. I hope everybody found us. I know definitely a little bit of a quieter night than normal. If you need to poke somebody and remind everyone that we have moved, feel free to do that, because we are now on our own channels. But I hope everybody stays happy and well. We will be posting our next topic probably as soon as we have it nailed down. We're trying to work several days ahead, so we've got it all nailed down. So we'll start getting new topics posted in advance, so everybody has time to kind of prepare, bring questions, bring thoughts into chat, and be hopefully more participatory as we go. So thank you everybody for joining us. We will see you all next week. Bye everybody.
Thanks everyone.